So today I'm going to be going over how to do top-down analysis the correct way. So before we waste any time, let's go get into this video. So there's really three simple steps that I use to do top-down analysis. Number one, that's identifying the higher time frame structure. So the higher time frame, we're on the monthly. Number two, only trade in the direction of the overall trend. The reason for this is, say we have a bullish trend. Let's get out my path tool real quick, and you need to pay attention to this because it's all gonna make sense. So say we have a bullish trend right here. So a lot of people that trade like supply demand or support and resistance, if price is bullish for some reason, they would like to sell back into their zone. So say they wanted to trade the retest of the resistance that turned to support. Price does not have to pull back into the zone, and a lot of times price does not pull back into the zone because price is most likely to continue higher. Same thing with supply and demand. Say if we had some demand right here and somebody wanted to enter on some demand, it doesn't make sense to sell back into that zone because price is not likely to pull back into the zone. Price is most likely to continue in the direction. But if price does pull back into the zone, that's when we can use look for buys, or we can go on a lower time frame and find a shift of structure that breaks back bullish upwards, understanding that price does not have to go into a certain zone, and then we can trade bullish based on that. So that's why the rule for number two makes sense to me. Number three, go 2 time frames lower and analyze and enter on your desired time frame. So me personally, I enter on the 1 minute time frame, and what I mean by going 2 time frames lower is if you're starting on the monthly time frame. So based on these time frames they're giving you right here, if you start on the monthly, you want to go to the daily. When you're on the daily, from there and you're done analyzing, go to the 2 hour. From there, keep going lower, and that's what I do. All right. So right now we're on the monthly. And right now I drew the lines already, so it can be like a faster video and you can still get what I'm saying so far. So if we look, you want to look left to right. So when I'm looking left to right, I notice this high, it breaks. So I'm looking at breaks, not wicks. So from the high, price breaks bullish right here. And if you haven't seen my last video on how to view structure, you need to watch that video, or it's gonna be confusing to understand what I'm doing in this video. All right, so price breaks structure right here, bullish, then breaks back down bearish. Then as price approaches upwards, it breaks bullish. Then as the price comes down, where's the low, price breaks the low bearish again. And then it keeps breaking bearish until it breaks back up bullish from this high. All right, and then price breaks back down bearish. Now we're in current price. Once it stops right there, we're gonna jump 2 time frames lower. All right, daily. What do I notice from the daily? So from this current price, where are we? So let's look left. So from this, as price is approaching down, making new structure down, so breaks the low, making new structure down. Where are we? Keeps going down. So what I notice is price currently broke back bullish. But if you know from my last video on how to view structure, you know that price can usually break a high once and still go in the continued in the tended direction, because price doesn't move in a perfect structure like this. It's gonna break a low before continuing higher and stuff like that. So knowing this, I identify my supply zone, which is my unmitigated supply zone, which is right here on this daily time frame. So it broke the high, but it could still tap into this zone before this. All right, so knowing this on the daily time frame, and also understanding that price does not have to pull into my zone, and it can run perfectly, go down lower without tapping into that zone, I went 2 time frames lower. So you can either wait for your own price to hit this zone, and then you can go 2 time frames lower and then do what I'm about to do. But right now, since price was pulling down, I was like, okay, price could potentially target the low without hitting this on zone. So I go to the 2 hour, and what do I notice? I basically look for the structure. So as price made that high, and the reason why this works is price is fractal. It happens on all time frame, down to the seconds time frames. I know some people that trade the seconds as well. All right, so this is the low right here. So price breaks the low, right? And then I identified, in this case, I identified my own supply zone, which is tabs in here. Short-term target would be this low, and then targeting it all the way down, right? That's how I would analyze this. I would target basically all the way down to this low. So again, after price broke this low right here, price broke the low again right here. And then I think yesterday, this was yesterday or something, I was on the 30-minute. So once it was right in this area and it broke this 2-hour low, I can now jump on the 30-minute. And what do I see on the 30-minute? I see 30-minute structure. So price broke, so it broke this low, then it made it went up, broke another low, right? From this low, I actually identified a hidden supply zone, which was from, let's see, I think it was it on the 15? No. Yeah, it was a 30-minute. So I identified a hidden supply zone based on this wick to that wick right there. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, and I will go over hidden supply and demand zones in a future video. So that will be really helpful in your trading. So I identified that hidden supply zone actually, which was right here. And from that time frame, usually from the 30-minute time frame, if it's like a 30-minute time frame, that's when I will jump down to a 1 minute. I will go all the way down to a 1 minute from there. So once it gets to around 30-minute, 15, I will go to a 1 minute. If it goes to a 1 hour, most I will go to is, 1 hour, I'll go to a 15-minute, then go to the 1 minute. Or I can just go from the 1 hour to a 2 minute. I'll explain that in a future video, so make sure you subscribe for that. So as I head down to a 1 minute time frame, this is what's really cool. I don't know why this big box is right here, but I was in this range and I followed the structure. So we had a break of this high, break of the low, a break of the low, and then we have a break of the high again. Then price broke the high again, broke the low, and then if you haven't watched my trading videos, I wait for a double break of structure to the intended trading direction, and then I will enter based on whichever supply or demand zone that is in that area. So I had 2 breaks of structures in a row. So 1, 2, and then price broke again. So I think this price is kind of off. I think the thing accidentally moved. Yeah, that's why I was confused. I was like, what? Entered somewhere. It was like somewhere right here. Yeah. So I had the break of structure right here, break of structure right here. Price didn't pull back to the zone because I understand that it doesn't have to. And then it broke again. Once price broke back and it pulled to the zone, I waited for the break of the low of the candle, entered, and then I partialed at the same 1 to 3 that I do, and then broke even once price did some structure, or it headed to my partials first and then I break even, and then I got stopped out at break even. But that's how I basically do top down analysis. Everything is fractal, and if you notice, what I did on the monthly was the same thing I was doing on the 1 minute. Everything is fractal, and that's what you gotta do when you do top down analysis. A lot of people make the mistake when they're doing top down is they will notice prices bullish on the higher time frame, but then when they get to their 1 hour, they're looking for sells, which doesn't really make sense. But if you're profitable doing that, like, you're profitable, so keep doing what you're doing. So that's how you do top down analysis. If you want to know how to predict the next likely direction, I do have a video right here on how to do that.